So Victoria, as far as Clippy is concerned, the famed Microsoft Word help robot, is Clippy all dick or no dick?
Like the shape, is he made of?
I've never considered this, but
all dick or no dick. Yeah,
this is a very diverse. Like I can see why this is a diversive question. What's the word?
It's divisive.
Divisive. I was like, diversive is not the word. I'm like,
but I would like to think that it's one of the most diverse questions I've ever asked.
I'm gonna say no dick, but also because my memory of Clippy is so ingrained with my little childhood self that I wouldn't have known to think that.
Fair, yeah.
But that was my like pastime after school. We didn't have internet at my house. The world had internet, but I just had Microsoft Office Suite, so I played with Publisher and PowerPoint. I made PowerPoints about all my favorite things. It was great. It was the precursor to my podcasting life, honestly.
This is great. Yeah. It's vision boarding.
Yeah.
Did you ever use Encarta Encyclopedia? Was that, you're probably too young for that.
Oh, I used Encarta all the time.
Like, obviously not, because I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but do you mean like a software encyclopedia or like physical books?
Yeah, no,
we had, like the kids' encyclopedia books.
Yeah, Encarta was this thing that like Compaq and Gateway computers were packaged with. It was software on a CD that was like, it's an interactive encyclopedia. So when you go to Niagara Falls, there's a 12-second clip of Niagara Falls happening. And it's in 200p. So you can almost see water.
Was this the one that Billy Crystal did ads for?
Oh.
That sounds
he
about
did
right.
ads for... Yeah?
Yeah,
He did ads for something that shipped on a CD-ROM.
I bet he did talking about baseball or something, because didn't Encarta have like a baseball thing? And Billy Crystal had like a big phase of just talking about baseball for HBO and other things for a while.
Don't explain this to me. I want it to just be weird. A friend of mine, oh my gosh, I know that we haven't even done the intro yet, but listen to this. A friend of mine is a big erotic novel reader.
Ooh, okay.
She goes through them so fast.
My friend is a big erotic could have ended so many different ways, but I like that it went with novel reader.
That's also true of this gal. She saw a deal that was like 4 erotic novels for $12, and she was like, great, yes, sign me up. She bought them, started listening to them, and realized the whole time she was listening, she was like, this sounds weird. I don't know why it sounds weird. By book 2, she was like, I think that this is an AI voice. I don't think that this is a human reading it. And so she goes to like the publisher's Facebook page, which looks like a fake Facebook page. There's one profile picture and it's just a close-up of an eye.
Yeah. Oh. That's not erotic at all. Well, I mean, the eyes are the window of the soul, which is the truest form of love, but still.
Robots don't have souls.
I was watching some videos to like refresh myself on some like Chicago skyscraper history, and I was like, this one is kind of like low quality, but they had like good like historical photos and whatever, and then all of a sudden the voice reading the script was like, in year 1883. I was like, oh, okay, that's why this sounds weird. It's just some computer voice, and it was a whole YouTube channel dedicated to firsts. I was like, it was the pre-debut buddies, but you guys are real people, so this is much better quality, honestly.
Instead of 1883.
Yeah.
Well,
we can sue, right? We can sue for. I want to make a Simpsons reference, but probably nobody's going to get it. Maybe Chelsea's going to get it.
Chelsea.
The Malibu Stacy episode of The Simpsons, where Lisa designs a new doll. She goes to talk to Mr. Smithers, who is the foremost Malibu Stacy collector in all of Springfield. He turns on his computer, and an AI version of Mr. Burns says, "Hello, Smithers, you're quite good at turning me on."
Oh, yeah.
And he said, you probably should ignore that. The tie-in there is obviously the AI and erotica. Was that good, or should I cut it?
No, you brought it around. You tied it up. Put a bow on it.
Okay, cool. As long as I was able to close out. Jeez, I was worried there for a second. Like, nope. Old man Rigoli is on a ramble again. listeners. This is Debut Buddies. It's your fortnightly podcast about firsts, the foremost podcast about firsts not operated by AI on the internet. That's
Yeah.
right, YouTube. We're looking at you.
That you
Thanks
know
to our
of.
guest for clocking our robot competitors who surely will take us down in, 5 to 10 weeks. I don't know. Something like that.
Probably.
They're quickly gaining strength. I'm Nate. I'm one of the buddies.
I'm Kelly. I'm a second buddy.
I am Chelsea. I am a third buddy.
Listeners, just so you know, Chelsea has been replaced by an AI. The living Chelsea decided she's had enough of my bullshit, so she has programmed an avatar. Imagine something between a Nintendo Mii and a minion? I don't know. What's better?
I don't know.
Okay.
Chelsea, how do you feel it?
Look
I
for
was
a
like, are you
sec.
trying to describe how I look right now? Because I'm a
No.
little offended,
No,
but that's
no.
a little too close to home.
Legit no connection to your actual appearance. I was just, for a second, I was going to drift into weirder, grosser AI lady stuff, and I decided to steer to minion. So that's where we went.
Proud of you.
I appreciate
Yeah,
Minion.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's because you're memorable, and I think that you're probably the merchandising opportunity for the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
think
striped
that's
shirt. That's what does it.
We have a very special guest this week, and if you can believe it, this is our second consecutive guest. It's Guests Month here at Debut Buddies.
Woohoo!
Our guest is one half of the dynamic hosting duo for the podcast Book Club with Julia and Victoria, whose names start with something and end with IA, which I feel good about because my last name ends with IA.
That's why we're friends.
Oh.
Yeah. We're in the IA club, not the AI club. Very important.
Oh, shit.
The opposite of artificial intelligence. Specifically, Victoria Bruick is our guest. Victoria, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hello.
I'm excited. I'm excited to chat. Honestly, this is a very good outlet for a rabbit hole that I have been going down for many weeks lately. And so when I was like, you know what? Nate once said we should do a podcast together. And I was like, I have some thoughts. So I'm excited.
I appreciate that you ended the sentence Nate once said with something as innocuous as that, considering all of the things Nate has said to start the show. Compared Chelsea to a minion, I had to steer myself out of a crevasse. It's been great. It's been great. So we're going to talk about the first Skyscraper, and Victoria, I think that's something you're familiar with. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, just like a very casual level, as casual as a rabbit hole of many weeks can be.
I love that you've burrowed down into the ground to examine a skyscraper.
You got to know about the foundation. Honestly,
That's
the next thing I
true.
was going to say
Right.
was some engineer or even just someone who mildly knows anything about physics is probably going to be very annoyed with me because I'm like, it just is magic. They just like made stuff and it's so tall.
Yeah, Victoria, I was going to ask you specifically, so do you believe jet fuel melts steel beams or no?
Great cue.
I don't know the reference and I don't know the answer.
Never forget.
Oh God, yeah. This is a common 9/11 truther thing: is that jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, so the planes couldn't have taken down the Twin Towers. See, I'm on a real roll tonight.
No,
Someone else
actually-
should just take control here.
Okay.
I was with you on that one.
In prep for this episode, I was reviewing some videos on YouTube, and there was one about how, so as you might know, Chicago burnt down like a bunch of it in the 1870s, and so it was a chance to rebuild so much of the city, but also everyone was like, never again, no more wooden structures because that was really bad. But they have steel frame structures, and that's where the skyscraper started to come into play. And they coat them with, they have a terracotta exterior to be fireproofing because the steel
Oh.
itself is not fireproof.
Wait.
Therefore, jet fuel melts steel.
Okay. We've cracked
Great.
it. We've cracked
I
it.
thank you for bringing it all the way around. I appreciate that. The starter of the Great Chicago Fire was a cow. Is that right?
Mhm.
That is the story. I recently referenced this to some friends, and someone was like, "You're wrong," and they were like,
Oh.
"This was a scapegoat situation where
Scape cow.
Mrs. O'Leary, who was an Irish woman who had a farm in Chicago." I hear your escapes cow, and I'm just moving back.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, keep rolling. Keep rolling. Great.
And so I haven't fact checked the person who fact checked me, but I believe the cow story was made up and Mrs. O'Leary was a scapegoat in the situation, kind of blame the Irish immigrant kind of thing of like, we don't actually know how the virus started, but who else do we blame when things go bad except women who are from other places?
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
That's highly believable.
there are some like fun like cows references around Chicago in homage to the start of the fire.
That's a weird thing to like celebrate. Or are they all like statues of the cow being hanged or burned at the stake?
It's a Mussolini effigy of the cow.
I don't know. I also wonder, I mean, I've only lived in Chicago, I should clarify, for like 7 years, 6-7 years. So I can't claim deep roots or deeper knowledge than I have. But I feel like my observation is that Chicago does like to make fun of itself. Like we named our soccer team the Chicago Fire. Like it's a terrible event. Like 300 people died, like 100,000 people lost their homes. It was like devastating for the city. And we were like, you know what? Soccer team.
Do we think that it's possible that the cheese consumption in Chicago is at all related to a sort of on the sly wanting to just get back at cows or understand them? Like, hey, if this is going to kill me, I need to know what it's doing.
Are we talking specifically about like Chicago style pizza?
Yeah, well, or
talk about cheese. Are they known for their cheese?
All the things.
Anytime I've been to Chicago, yeah, cheese is on everything.
Shit,
that's really just a Midwestern thing, in my experience.
That's probably true. It's just that
Wisconsin
Great Lakes
really
region.
holds on to the cheese.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. Like billboards for cheese everywhere. Driving through Wisconsin.
Oh,
but you'd forget about it if there weren't any.
Like just the concept of cheese,
just like cheese store down the road.
yeah.
Biggest cheese store in Wisconsin. Biggest cheese store in northern Wisconsin. Like they all claim to fame. Yeah, they all have their own.
Biggest cheese store on Main Street.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that is valuable information. It does remind me. So I live in Colorado and am from Arkansas. On the drive from here to there, you pass a series of billboards for dozens of miles advertising the friendliest yarn shop in the universe.
Oh.
And I don't know, like Kansas isn't known for yarn or like sheep or the things that you would make yarn from. And I also want to know, like, friendliest? That's what you've got going for you? Not like widest selection, not like highest quality fibers.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta.
I want to roll into one of the unfriendly yarn shops and see what it's about. Somebody's just like,
doesn't want to be bothered.
You don't knit for shit, motherfucker. Get out of here.
That's the name of our new yarn shop. Thank you for coming up with me.
It's like those New York delis where if you say they're like, get the fuck out of line, next.
yeah. Hell, it's even bakeries. Jenny and I went to a bakery in New York that was very fancy and had nice cupcakes, and it was the same kind of thing. Like if you didn't step up and be like, I want these things, they're like, get out of line.
Oh shit.
Come back later. And he's like,
oh,
okay.
I do respect it.
Yeah. I mean,
can I order online and pick up? I don't know. That makes me so uncomfortable. Jesus, I'm already like sweating a little bit just thinking about it.
It's intense, right? Like it was a good thing that it was sort of like I was half in my cups that evening when we stopped, because it was just like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna put on my faux like accent, my tough guy. Like I'm gonna go up there and just be like, yeah, I want I want 4 red velvets right now. Box them individually. I want to watch you do it.
Yeah, that's good. Turn the table on them.
Yeah.
Box it faster.
And they're like, respect.
Put one of them in upside down. I want to see the frosting squish.
He's a monster. You better do it.
We're going strange places tonight. This is fantastic. I can't wait to not edit any of this.
Strange places like Chicago.
Yeah.
Home of the first skyscraper.
Yeah.
I could host.
That was a hell of a segue. That was really good.
Good transition back. So the first skyscraper, part of the rabbit hole was also about the etymology of skyscraper, but I didn't get very far. Apparently it was used for like a lot of different things before we used it as a word for building. The first reference was for a tall horse.
Oh.
I was like, we have come so far from a tall horse being a skyscraper to like the Burj Khalifa.
I love that.
How tall is that?
I want to see the print ad for this that someone like carefully typeset, presumably on a Gutenberg press or something, where it's like, this Clydesdale is a skyscraper.
Was it like one really tall horse? Like, was there a specific horse that they were like, I've never seen a horse so tall. He's practically scraping the sky. Why, he's a skyscraper. Like, where did it come from?
Apparently, Skyscraper was a British thoroughbred racehorse,
Oh,
at least in 1786 to 1807.
I would have put my money on
Lose
it.
a lot. I feel like if you're very large, you're not going to be as fast as the tinier ones.
I wonder if it's like tall people with basketball. There's some people who are just very tall, but they were like, I'm so gangly and uncoordinated. I'm not good at sports. And then there's other people who are super tall and they were like wizards. And
I'm gonna share the artist rendering of Skyscraper with Jockey from the Wikipedia page.
Jockey. Okay. How tall is this jockey?
That's what I was gonna
like.
Okay, that reminds me of, there's this picture of Charles Manson on a horse. Charles Manson, notoriously very tiny.
Yeah.
It's a normal sized horse. It's so funny. Because it looks like that picture. Tiny
Was he a
jockey,
jockey?
big horse.
Did he ever try his hand at horse racing? Is that where it went awry? He wasn't.
He tried to be a jockey, then he tried to be a beach boy, and then he murdered a bunch of people.
He legitimately did try to be a beach boy. That part's true.
Yeah. He partied with the Beach Boys for a long time.
He did, and they did a cover of one of his songs.
Yeah. They took his
Oh.
song and changed it to something else, and I can't remember what it's called.
I was trying to find this photo, and if you search Charles Manson on a horse, one of the images is from Reddit, and it's someone photoshopped Charles Manson's face on a horse.
Great. Yeah.
And it's
Listeners, pause the podcast now. Google Charles Manson on a horse and email your favorite to debutbuddies@gmail.com.
I think it's got to be that one. That's got to be the universal favorite.
Yeah. I think the listeners could also email us a photo of themselves. We could do some crude Photoshop to put them on Charlie Manson's head on the horse, or replace the horse's head with their head, which, I mean, that's fun, right?
Perfect. I feel like we were talking about AI. We could do some heavy lifting.
Can.
Yeah. I feel like that's all this is anyway.
Nobody give your face to the artificial intelligence. Don't send your face to it. You can
I think
send
it's too
Charlie
late.
Manson's face to
We
it.
all have
It's too
downloaded
late.
an app that did some sort of gender swap or aging or de-aging or
Or I had to know which Golden Girl I was.
yeah.
Hmm.
Which one were you?
They had me as Dorothy, but I'm obviously a Sophia. Obviously.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I would clock you as a
Yeah.
Sophia too.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Which
That's
one am
fine.
I? I'm the horny one. What's
Blanche.
Blanche. Yeah, you're
Blanche.
totally a
Blanche.
Blanche. That
Yeah.
tracks. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I'm a Dorothy if I'm at well, no, I don't know. What am I? I'm probably a Rose, honestly. I'm just full of stupid stories that don't go anywhere.
Nobody argues.
yeah. That's all the confirmation I need.
America's sweetheart.
You're not as negative as Dorothy. I feel like Dorothy is she's realistic. Anyways, let's get off of
Yeah,
Golden Girls
yeah.
because I could probably talk about this for too
We'll go
long.
back to horses, which will
That
take us
sounds
back to
better.
skyscrapers.
Yeah.
So apparently it's very debatable what is considered a skyscraper, but the reason why the what was it called? The home insurance building, which is a very nondescript name. If you try to Google what is home insurance, it's not. I was like, what is the home insurance company? And Google's like, what do you mean? That's not helpful to
Which
find
one?
anything. Yeah. Anyways, the home insurance building, it was clocked as like the first skyscraper because of the way it was built, because it was not only tall, but supported by a steel frame skeleton.
Mhm. Spooky.
Yeah. So apparently previously the tall buildings, you would just build thicker and thicker walls because you had to support the whole structure, not only the outside of the building, but the inside of the building too. But the steel frame moved all of the load bearing further out. And so you would put lighter materials on the outside. It could be thinner walls, and then you could go taller.
So instead of
Yeah.
pyramids, you would have just straight up sort of buildings.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are still not necessarily pyramids, but I read something that you've seen those skyscrapers that like they look like something that a kid would build out of like building blocks. So it's like the same width all the way up, and then at some point the floor gets narrower, and then the floor gets narrower. I did read that that is like you have to do that in order to get sufficiently tall.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I don't know the science.
I mean, there's got to be some sort of compound weight issue, right? That the taller it gets,
Something.
the more area of mass that you have above the base is going to be multiplied by the amount of distance that you're weighing, right? Because like
That sounds right. I don't
just
know.
well,
How that works.
because I think about that you know, we talk about the legitimate atmospheric weight of air at sea level
True,
is much
yeah.
heavier than air at
Mhm.
altitude.
Right.
So that's a reason why if you're playing baseball in Denver, Colorado, you hit home runs more easily because there's literally less physical air mass
Wow.
pushing down on the ball, so the ball carries further. Whereas at sea level, you have so much more weight of atmosphere. It's also part of why it's harder to get a sunburn at sea level too,
Wow.
because there's more layers of
So
actual
easy up
material.
here.
I'm learning so much this episode.
Victoria, do you know? Maybe it has something to do with the way that they sway too. I don't
Oh.
know. I just had
Yeah, I know,
questions,
like,
not a single
different-
answer.
Yeah, I have very few answers, but I have some thoughts that can be maybe an answer. I know for
Okay.
specifically, sorry, that was weird. The specifically
No,
The-
you heard me earlier get mad at Nate when he gave me real facts. I like maybes and
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
stories.
great, I'm full of them. So the Sears Tower, also known as the Willis Tower in Chicago, it's actually 9 towers that are together.
Oh.
And it's to help support the structure because like we were saying, you can't just go up really tall at the same width because then it'll be too heavy. It'll like won't have enough support against the wind and like so the story goes, I guess, that the person who designed the Willis Tower structure, he had the thought in a meeting, he was like tapping out cigarettes from a box.
Oh.
And that was kind of the idea of like,
Wow.
if you have a bunch of things bundled together, they're stronger than if you just have one.
Oh.
True.
So there's 9 individual buildings that are connected on the lower floors. And then as you go further up, they're independent buildings. And then they all go different
Oh.
heights. So there's the 2 that are the tallest of the Willis Tower or Sears Tower. And then the other 7 are varying heights, which makes elevators fun because you just have to constantly change it. You have to like figure out which tower you're trying to go to and like get in the right elevator or you won't get there.
I worked in a building. Well, I worked for a company that had a building like that in Oakland, California. I worked there almost 8 years. Literally never could figure out the elevator and floor situation. Like I would just follow somebody. Like I would start my day in the East Tower, and by the end of the day, I'm like, "How do I get back to my desk?" And they're like, "Well, you're in the West Tower now." And I'm like, "When? When?"
David Lynch presents a building.
That's how it felt. Or like Kafka, maybe. How did MC Escher. How did I get over here?
I like the idea that confirms though that like buildings are inherently communist, so maybe we should be too. We're supposed to rely on each other. None of this stuff can hold its ass up by itself.
Stronger together than we are
Yep.
apart.
Comrade.
Yeah. But there's also many ways to build a building. Not every building is 9 buildings tied together.
True. That's true.
Yet.
Sadly.
Is there a best way to build a building? What's the best way to
Oh.
build a building?
It doesn't fall down. I don't know.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Minimum
That's valid.
requirement. Yeah.
There was a giant building in Seattle that I called like the Beaver Building because it looked like a beaver had eaten the bottom of it. It was just like on one tiny thing. And then
Okay.
it like flowed up. And I was like, how is that standing? Because it is very
That's-
tall and it is very scary.
That's definitely not the best way.
It is a way though.
It's a way.
Yeah.
This is why I like brutalism, right? Like modernist brutalism, you know what it is. You know it's a building.
Mhm.
It's a big concrete box with
Boo.
cool windows. What? It's gonna work. It's gonna stand forever.
I hate that.
Why?
Ugly.
Aw.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yuck your yum.
And that's when the podcast ended.
So going back to our home insurance building that never had a more creative name. It was built in 1884 and at the time it wasn't even referenced as a skyscraper. But it's only kind of been like after the fact when we started debating more. This is just vibes. This is not anything I fact checked. Vibes is that people didn't know that there was going to be so many of these. And it was just like all these buildings were happening so fast. So like Chicago got its first steel frame skyscraper in 1884. But within like 10 years, there was like dozens and dozens more. And then New York was competing and doing taller things. And like basically up until the Great Depression was just like insane skyscraper building. I used to live in this building that was, when it was built, the tallest building in America. But literally within months, it was surpassed. Like,
Whoa.
It's just so much was building so fast.
So it was around that time. It was around the time of the home insurance building.
Yeah.
Sorry, is that what it was called?
It was called the
yeah.
home insurance building. Yeah, it's like such a lame name. It's probably where they tore it down. Yeah, it
Only like 40 years later. It didn't last long.
Ironically, uninsured.
Well, it wasn't a home. So how tall is that building?
So the building was 10 stories tall when it was built, or when it was first finished. They added 2 more stories later, which is also wild to me that it's like people were just like, well, let's add building, like add floors to this. Like we already did all this work. So the final height was 138 feet tall, or for metric people, 42.1 meters tall.
Wow.
Which is so short compared to like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
cute. You're like,
Because that is like 13 stories, right? Did this building have a 13th floor? Because that's a common convention that they don't.
No,
They always
it
go 12
only
to
had
14.
12.
Okay.
They were just taller floors. So like I don't know.
Gotcha.
That was the final height. I also don't know what they're counting in the height. You know how like if you look at pictures, it has like a little like molding at the top or whatever. Like I wonder if they count those extra inches.
Is it above ground? Yeah, because there could be like a sort of a walk-in or a sub-basement sort of thing. Yeah, garden level.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the rules? I bet there are regulations today, like how to qualify as a skyscraper.
It also depends on who you ask. So I was trying to find like, what does it mean? I found like a few construction awards or like architecture awards that they have like specifications of like, if a building's going to win a certain award, it has to have these things if it falls in the skyscraper category. So today we said, like, according to whatever architecture blog I found, the B1M, I don't know.
Yes.
It seemed legit. I don't know.
I
According
have
to
a
them,
subscription.
a skyscraper has to be 492 feet tall, or 150 meters or more. And it has to have 50% or more habitable floor space. So like if you think of like the Toronto like Space Needle, the CNN Tower, is that what it is?
Oh yeah,
I said Toronto Space Needle. That's Seattle. Seattle Space Needle or Toronto CNN Tower. Those are like observation towers, like communication towers, and less than 50% of the floor like area is habitable floor space. So that wouldn't count as a skyscraper. That would be a tower. I guess.
Though they scrape the sky, no one can be inside them.
Yeah.
Well, you could be inside them.
Not enough of them.
Not
yeah. So yeah, if we're thinking like it had to be 150 meters today, this one was like not even close to half of that.
Just
home
tiny.
insurance building. It was just a little cute.
Just a little guy. The original one was like 130 feet, and the new requirement is what, 400 and what?
92.
92.
Oh, wow.
It's almost 500. So,
so 50,
tiny.
almost 50 story buildings. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Just little. Wait, so have I ever been in a skyscraper? Maybe not. I'm just a little hazy.
Wait, you worked in a building that had multiple towers and you would get lost? That was probably
no
tall.
It was a subtle
It was not
skyscraper?
tall.
It was tall, but I think it was only like 15 floors.
That's still
18,
pretty
18
tall.
maybe.
I mean,
Again, I think it really depends on who you ask and at what time you're asking. You know, like maybe
No, it's just a baby, 187 feet tall.
aw, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So 18 feet. Ha! Nate, your guideline was right.
Hey, yeah. The modern thing on Wikipedia
18
at least
stories,
is that
sorry.
330 feet is the minimum, 100 meters. So that would put you at 33 floors to qualify as a skyscraper, roughly. That's a lot of floors.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
floors.
that's tall. Yeah, I don't know where we want to go next. I have thoughts about other old buildings in Chicago. I have thoughts about tall buildings still.
Let's this is a question I want to ask everyone, which is and Kelly, you've already answered, I think, but like, what is the tallest thing you've ever been in, building wise, knowing that we can't call them all skyscrapers because sometimes they're not.
There was a place that I lived in that was really tall, but it was like temporary living situation when I was traveling for work. And I don't know how tall it was, so I'm gonna look it up right now.
I know I've been in taller buildings, hotels mostly. Like I stayed in a real bougie hotel in Las Vegas once, never again. And I don't remember how tall it was. You know what? Maybe that was a skyscraper because I feel like maybe I was on the 44th floor.
Wow.
Okay. I take it back. I think maybe I've been at a skyscraper.
That was one of my favorite things to do in college was visit friends in cities, and then we would just run around and like go into hotels with confidence to see how far we could get up the elevator and like look out the window for a sky view without having to pay for like a sky view kind of experience.
Yeah.
So did that in Nashville, did a few places around Chicago. But I did go to the Burj Khalifa last summer.
Oh yeah.
So like truly the tallest structure on Earth, or a building on Earth. It was insane. Like my brain couldn't comprehend how far up we were. And it was also crazy because when we were on the ground, we were watching this like big, like they have a big fountain in front. You can't even call it a fountain. It's like a lake that is a fountain.
Isn't there's like a synthetic set of islands around that they have built, right? Am I thinking of the right thing?
That's in Dubai, but that's
in
like
Dubai. Okay.
Further away from where I was in the city. They've got, so the Burj Khalifa has like, it's connected to a mall that's huge. And then there's a giant fountain that's basically a lake and you can ride a boat in it. But they do a big water show. And we were watching, we're like, this is insane. The water's going like 40 feet high. It's so tall. And then we go up in the Burj Khalifa and we look down and we're like, oh, it's so tiny. It's just like a little bit of water. And I'm like, this is crazy. It's so crazy.
How tall is that one?
The Burj Khalifa is 828 meters tall, which is 2,716 feet and 6 inches.
So it's half a mile tall.
That's too tall.
And I'm trying to find which floor we were on because we obviously didn't go all the way to the top or like the lookout.
That goes above the clouds, right? Am I making that up? I don't understand how.
Yeah, no, it could totally. It totally goes above depending on least some of the clouds. Yeah.
Could people get like altitude sick at the top?
Oh my god.
I feel like they could.
Yeah.
You're half a mile above sea level. Like if you were ascending the stairs at that point, you would start feeling, if you're a lowlander, you'd probably be getting sick.
Oh boy.
We went to the 148th floor.
Jesus.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. That's real high up.
And what is that? That's only like halfway up.
I'm getting sweaty again. This
Wait,
is not good.
is it even that? Yeah, only like halfway up.
It's up. Ooh, that's fine. Anybody else?
It's 163 floors altogether.
Oh,
okay. So you got 3/4 of the way up there.
Yeah,
that's exciting. Yeah. I've never been in anything quite that tall. Like best case, I think Empire State Building, the Space Needle, great, really really fun because everything does. You're up. It's not a skyscraper, but it is.
We're just talking tall things that you could be on.
It's just a tall ass thing. And then the historical progenitor to all of the skyscraper building that started with that home life insurance building, the Eiffel Tower, which apparently is the source. They were like, oh hey, you can build shit with steel and it just stands up. Great. Merci les Français.
Okay, quick Duolingo streak check.
Oh shit, yeah. I mean, it's literally been a week since last time you asked me, so
+7.
add 7. But I'm gonna tell you the number,
whatever that was,
as soon as the app loads, because it'll have been 2 weeks ago, which is weird. The listeners are gonna now know what our recording schedule is compared to the release schedule.
Put in the cow.
Oh. 1,583 consecutive days.
Wait, Chelsea, how tall was you were fact checking?
No, it was only like 32 stories. So not that tall, but I felt like it was very tall.
That's still tall. That's 300 something feet.
Tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all
and
relative,
very
right? Because
small.
like if you're in the tallest building around, even if it's only 10 stories tall, you're like, I'm in the skyscraper. Like
Yeah.
I've got the
was-
view.
It was
I'm on this big horse.
Yeah, it was one of the taller buildings when I moved there, but since then they have built so many more giant apartment buildings that it dwarfed. It was very small by the time I
The
left.
skyline over there has changed a lot since you
Absurd.
moved to Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great book titled The City in Mind: Notes on the Urban Condition that I read this years ago. But it's about new urbanism, which is an architectural philosophy that discusses kind of in depth, one, the necessity of walkability for cities, that we sort of, as we build around cars, we lose our ability to connect to things easily, and that makes us all stressed out and cuckoo bananas. But the other thing that they talk about in there is that humans are really only comfortable being 4 to 5 stories up off the ground. And as you continue going up, we become more and more anxious as we go up too. That it psychologically contributes to some things like megalomania and things like that, right? Like if you're important and you have an office that's in the top of a major structure, you really do feel like you're looking down over everybody, which causes problematic psychological development around your association with your job and your self-importance and all these other things. But it also kind of, we're like just physically not, we're not meant to fly. So we're sort of designed to be uncomfortable with it. Which I always found very interesting, because I will feel that way. Like even though I'm not really afraid of heights, a lot of times, you will be caught in that sublime moment. I was gonna, Kelly, you hate the Grand Canyon for obvious reasons, but
Fuck the Grand Canyon.
But the Grand Canyon's one of those places where you have a reverse skyscraper effect. Like you stand at the lip and you look down into it, and you have a traditional sort of 18th century literature sublime moment where you realize how completely insignificant you are and how easily you could completely end yourself without thought. Like all it would take is stepping off and suddenly, boom, I'm gone. That's it. Like there's nothing.
See, my problem with the Grand Canyon was that was not available to me.
Right.
It looked like maybe it was 5 feet deep. Like, let me experience an epiphany. Come on. Victoria, when I went, it was like full of fog. It was a rainy day. You couldn't see anything. And I only had like an hour out of a road trip, or I wouldn't be able to make it home for like a week because of an incoming snowstorm. So just saw a bowl of fog. Or
I also was kind of
maybe
disappointed.
A shallow hole of fog.
I also was kind of disappointed by the Grand Canyon when I first saw it. I think we just have such good photography that I was like, the Grand Canyon looks amazing in photos. It's got to look amazing in person. But my eyes just can't focus because it's just so big. The camera can like bring it into focus, and like with editing, and maybe it was like a smoggy kind of day. It wasn't foggy, but like it was. I just felt like I thought I could see it better.
Oh no.
But it's just so big.
I think a lot of people must experience that, because when I was planning that road trip, I was like, how long do I need to allocate for the Grand Canyon? Like, I don't want to spend a lot of time there, but like I also don't want to be disrespectful. So like, how long on average? And so I Googled it, and there are stats on it, and average time was 13 minutes. And I was like, oh, I could swing that. Okay, cool. So I think a lot of people must get there and be like, okay.
Like either you just go to see it and you're like, or you go to like hike it and you're like there for 3 days and like, The
one thing I've never done there is they have the glass bottom sky bridge that arches out over part of, I think, the west part of the canyon. And I always wanted to do that because it would be utterly terrifying, but also amazing. Yeah.
Wait, Chelsea, have you done it, or
no.
did you pass?
I've been to the South Rim and the North Rim, but I haven't been to the West Rim.
Yeah, it might not be on the West Rim or anything.
It is on the West. 100%.
Oh, it is?
It's on
wow,
the West.
my memory is steel trap.
Yeah.
Because what people talk about when they do it is that you walk out there and birds fly under your feet, which like, glass bottom boat, but for dying of a fall.
It's okay.
I could do up better than boat. I think boat would freak me out more. But did the Burj Khalifa have that? like I was gonna ask how you experienced
Oh.
looking down. Was it just out of a
Yeah.
window, or was there like an observation
So there was like an
platform?
observation like patio,
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like a very tall railings with like plexiglass, which I was not about to do any other way.
Did they have like, you know how this is morbid? You know how the Golden Gate Bridge has like the nets underneath it to catch anybody who
Mhm.
might get any
Oh
funny-
yeah.
They have that.
the plexiglass part was like 8 feet tall on top of the railing kind of deal.
I think a determined person could get over that.
Probably. They did have security around, so
Okay.
a very quick, determined person might be able to do something with it, but I did not. I don't believe there were any sort of like nets or anything.
You said it was weird.
Like,
How did it compare to the Grand Canyon?
I mean, similarly, where it was kind of like we were in Dubai for like a day. We had like a stopover on a flight, and so my partner and I were like, "We're here. Let's go. Let's see it. Let's see all the sites that we can in like 20 hours." And
Well, and from up there, you can see them all.
Just like a placemat at a Denny's, and you're just checking
Yeah,
off
you're
all of
I
the
spy.
landmarks. I did it.
Yep, saw the palm tree islands. But it was pretty smoggy, like desert. I don't even know if it was like city smog or just like heat plus dust plus desert smog kind of
gross.
deal.
Yeah.
So the visibility was pretty low when we were there. And again, we were so high up that it like, I'm sure just, I don't know if it was clouds or dust or distance. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
super clear to see very far. And by the time we got up, it was nighttime as well. So we couldn't like
Wow.
clearly see the coast.
So you started ascending during daytime, and it became night by the time you got to the top.
We got in line to ascend during daytime. The line
shit!
was
Okay,
just so
See, I was
long.
just being an idiot, but okay,
Slowest elevator.
great.
We hiked
no,
it.
that was
We
crazy.
lifted
The
up.
elevator, like, it didn't feel like we were moving that fast. Like if they didn't have a number counting, which I think for psychological safety, they like have to show you a number counting because it, like, you know, even going up like a few floors, your ears can pop or whatever.
Yeah.
It happened like 2 or 3 times going up.
Oh my God.
Like clear my ears
Wow.
and then pop again, clear my ears, popping again. But I didn't have the like stomach dropping sensation that even like a less, I don't know, just very smooth elevator, which it is a very fancy new building. So
Yeah,
they probably got the best of the
like that
best.
Sade song.
Unfamiliar.
It's a song called "Smooth Operator," but
Oh, I thought it was.
and everybody
something
knows
building.
it. But I'm not gonna.
Smooth operator.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. Well, okay. Nate, you saying that being too high up can have like a psychological effect on us. It made me think too. So in kind of the advent of skyscrapers, it was like a lot of other technologies had to be developed along the way. Like not only was it like steel frame structure, cool, now we can be a lighter, more efficient building, but people have to live in here. And so it was also the invention of elevators that made it possible. Because previously, I think like 6 stories was kind of like the cap of like no one wants to climb that many stairs.
Yep.
And it maybe is just really not safe, even for a fit person to climb many more stairs.
Keeping in mind, people back then smoking 40 to 50 packs of cigarettes a day, I think. So
True.
you're not
And significantly
making that.
shorter, so their legs are littler.
Oh man, yeah. Each step they got to put their arms up and push up and climb on.
Why the horse was so tall to them.
Just a bunch of jockeys walking around trying to get places without their skyscraper.
Oh my God, that's why that horse seemed so big. They were just little.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do you know any other tech that might have been invented? I'm just imagining like maybe plumbing had to change.
Yeah, I'm sure plumbing too, but ventilation was a big one. Like,
oh, sure.
especially as more and more cities, or especially in Chicago, New York, or whatever, as more and more skyscrapers were built, it really changed kind of the dynamic of like how people lived in these buildings. So in Chicago, they have from the Chicago style window, which is really big window in the middle and 2 skinnier ventilation windows on the side. So the skinnier ones open and close, but the big one lets in like a lot of light. And it kind of usually we like bump out that when I say we, as if I built these buildings, the Chicago style buildings, well, bump out that front window. And so that kind of bay window with the 2 smaller side pieces is like a very Chicago style that started for like ventilation purposes, as well as creating like courtyards within the building. That was like a big part of ventilation as well, so that like everyone gets some windows. You open your little window above your door to the hallway, and you open your outside window, and it gets a little like breeze going.
Narrow windows designed also to prevent you from exiting through them when you should not.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's part of the deal. Yeah. I do think it's interesting though, because Victoria, you did obviously invent those, and I think we should just put that on Front Street here. We don't want to lie to the listeners about.
I
about
am too humble. Yeah,
deserve the respect though.
Honestly, the respect should come that I'm 100, 200 years old and I look like this. So.
Yeah, you look great.
Talking about women's ages
Great
or
moisturizer.
I was just curious, so I Googled it real quick, how tall H.H. Holmes' murder castle was.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
only 3 stories, so not really relevant to the conversation.
Still, 3 stories is a lot. Our place
and
now,
a basement, so good for him.
Yeah, our place is 2 stories in a basement. It's a lot of stairs. I got to be honest. I'm only 41 years old, and I'm thinking like, man, I don't know if I can handle this many stairs coming up in like 10 years, maybe. It's gonna be like, I need a ranch.
Call up Otis, get you one of them elevators.
Yeah. I was gonna get one of the chair rails that you
That's
can
what
just ride on up.
That's probably easier to install.
That's fun. Yeah. Just a corgi on my lap, slowly scooting up horizontally.
In college, I lived in a dorm from I think the 60s, and it was only 5 floors. I lived on the 5th floor every year, which was highly inconvenient. And the elevator was just so slow. And it was one elevator for all the women who lived on all 5 floors. And it was just like, no, thank you. So I got really like efficient at climbing the stairs. But like, no matter how many times you climb the stairs, I feel like the last flight is always the worst. Like, because I lived on the 5th floor, that floor 4 to floor 5 always difficult because I never actually pushed myself to climb more than 5 flights of stairs. Like my body's just like, this is where we poop out. We're tired now.
This is the thing. Do we remember? Because I have this probably fake memory that at least as a child, like sprinting upstairs was absolutely no problem. And I'm trying to pinpoint what age it was when that cutoff hit, where it was like, oh no, yeah, this is no longer going to happen.
I know precisely when it occurred to me. I have a vivid memory of it. And there are extenuating circumstances. It was when I moved to Colorado. No oxygen up here. We don't got oxygen.
No.
But the day that I learned it was I went to Red Rocks to see a concert. And I just had always sprinted upstairs to that point. Like I've got places to be, so I always just jogged up them. And I get to Red Rocks all casual for a concert and sprint up the stairs, and like halfway up I was like, I am seeing stars.
That is a lot of stairs too. Red Rocks is a lot of stairs. And
I had only been in Colorado for like 4 days. I had not adjusted to the altitude.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Just like, I don't know. I was cosplaying as Icarus.
What band were you seeing?
It's so stupid.
Great. This is even better. This is why I asked.
I don't remember their name, but it was a Pink Floyd cover band.
Aw, nice.
That's a really cool venue for a cover band.
It was fun, and they sounded great, and like, I don't know, we were so far away that they even kind of looked like them, and the lights were great. But I don't know, when I moved here, I'm very introverted, and I was like, if you're not careful, you're like never gonna leave your apartment. So I like vowed to say yes to everything. And so I started at my new job, and I just worked with only, no offense, Nate, middle-aged white dudes. And
I'm waiting for the part where I'm supposed to be offended, because
okay,
I know that it's already a problem, but I want to know specifically why.
No, that was it. But there was just one other person there who was like early 20s. And he was like, do you want to go see this stupid band? And I was like, I vowed to myself I would say yes to everything, so I guess I do.
Okay, I have a pivot question based on this cover band thing, which is, if the 4 of us were a cover band and we played only shows where we played stadiums, so people had to be far enough away that we looked like the band, what band are we?
ABBA.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's pretty good. That's
Might
pretty
be
good.
because we're 4 squares and I'm looking at this.
I would take a chance on us.
Yeah.
I just am curious because that's 2 women, 2 men.
I'm the
so-
man. I can feather my hair.
I just assumed I was the boy because it's 2 blondos.
Yeah,
Y'all are
that's
already
fine.
blonde.
Kelly, you and I are the dudes.
But I'm one of the.
Victoria
I get
are
to be
the
one of the girls,
ladies.
right? Right. Take a chance. Take a chance. Take a chance. Take a chance.
Beautiful. And I'm Meryl Streep. Sorry.
And Chelsea is Pierce Brosnan.
Every time.
Oh, we get to be in love. Mamma Mia spoilers. Alert, alert, alert.
Even though you've got like an Amanda Seyfried thing going on anyway, which would make more sense. You already look
would,
like Amanda
yeah.
Seyfried.
Then I can be her British fella. I'll be him.
What's his name? Duncan
I'll get
Hines?
to go. Yeah, that's him.
Wow, off
The
the
ice
rails.
cream?
So far off the rails. Cake mix, I think, and frosting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Duncan Hines, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
We can circle back.
Okay.
Tell us more about
Tall
Yeah, we're
buildings.
doing great. We're doing
about
great.
tall buildings.
Okay, well, speaking of concert venues, a building I really love here in Chicago is the Auditorium building. Again, not creative names. It is a building with an auditorium in it.
I almost did a spit take because I legitimately thought that you were just referring to it as like, it's the building that holds the auditorium, and I am about to tell you the name.
Nope, it's just the auditorium building. But so Chicago, it's interesting in many ways that it became such a skyscraper capital because the land we're on is pretty marshy and swampy. We're right by like Michigan. It's the area I guess, I don't know. Before humans were in the area, it was a giant prehistoric lake, and so we have a lot of sediment and whatnot. But under, like 80 feet down, I think is like the bedrock. So either you have to drill super far down, or you have to figure out another solution, and kind of like float the building. And some of that floating has worked, and some of it hasn't. And the auditorium theater or the auditorium building was one where we learned some lessons. Again, because I'm building these things, I learned so many lessons. And Curious City, which is a radio show of WBEZ, the NPR station here, they do like people submit questions about the city, and then they bring in experts and they answer the questions. And so they had
that's fun.
it's really fun. They have a whole episode about like Chicago's like soil sediment and how skyscrapers are built here. But they go into the basement of the auditorium theater or the auditorium building. And they brought a bunch of marbles and then mic'd it, and they just like rolled them because the floor is so just like the different parts of the building sunk at different rates.
Yeah.
And so the hole underneath is just
wow.
like, oh, what? The building still stands,
Oh, that's amazing.
just lower in some parts than others.
But you would think that it would be like coming apart at the seams. Like that's
Yeah.
incredible. That like speaks
Wow.
to how great the construction of well, I assume that it's like a steel building. Yeah.
This one, I think, was like a mix of like steel frame. I don't know for sure. I'd have to fact check myself, but I think it's like a mix of steel frame, and then they have like a heavier outside part. And actually, my dad and I
Curtain
walked
wall,
past
I
it
think is what that's
last.
called.
Oh, nice, cool, that's great.
Googled
Boom.
it for this.
My dad and I walked past it last weekend, and he's like, "It looks like they cut something out here."
Oh,
And
no.
because we like, though, there's like a walkway where like I don't know how to describe it. You're basically the building here, but then the building juts out, and then there's pillars, and you can walk basically under the second floor of the
You should
building.
not do that. Don't go under there. I don't.
It's just the sidewalk, like that's just the street. Like, anyways, it looks
Cross
like
the
it's
street, go
cutaways. I
around.
don't know if they like were doing things to fix the building to preserve it. Do they reinforce it? I don't know what they did.
That's wild.
Yeah, someday I'll go on. They do like tours of the building, which is delightful. I just want to walk around and learn all the things about it. But
So is it still in use?
yeah, up until
Wow.
a couple years ago, the Joffrey Ballet did all their performances there. They've moved to another area, but Roosevelt University owns the building, and so it's a huge building. It basically takes up an entire like half of a city block.
Whoa.
So the auditorium is one part of it, and then the rest is all like classrooms and rehearsal space and offices and stuff.
Do they are they like tracking how far it sinks? Because I know that Venice, Italy, famously also sinking, and they track that. New York City also sinking. I can't remember what the rate is, but it's sinking some fraction of an inch every year. And so
Is New York City sinking or is the ocean rising?
a little bit of both is my understanding. Like we're literally
Got it.
getting more ocean, but it's also you have a tiny little island and a bunch of really tall shit built on it, and it's just kind of doing the old back and forth.
Sure. Well,
enjoy it while it's here.
There's another building that's sunk in Chicago where I didn't, you just kind of like live your life. You walk around, go to stores, you're not really thinking. But there's a coffee shop I love. You have to like step down to get into the coffee shop, and I never thought about it at all until I learned more about the building it's in. It's called the Monadnock Building, and it's really cool. I like it for a lot of reasons, but the reason why you have to step down into the building is because it has sunk that far. That like it has sunk about one step down.
Wow.
That's
to like
great.
step into the building. But it's
so
also
weird to think about just the like structure of the building sinking, right? You'd think that like the ground around it would be like angled down. So it's like flat sidewalk, step down, 90-degree angle.
I don't know if
building?
it's just like repairing over
crazy.
time. Obviously, like the sidewalks and the roads are like repaved and redone. Like
That's
the Monadnock
true. And they
Building's
don't
born
have
in the
the weight on them.
1890s. We don't have the same
Yeah.
sidewalks that we had in the 1890s. So,
That's
and I don't know how fast it sunk. Like if it sunk in the first couple decades and then they like fixed something or whatever.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
That's cool. That's crazy.
They put a really heavy Christmas tree on top the first winter, and they were like, "Whoops,
Oh no.
we won't do that
Again.
again."
But the Monadnock Building, one thing I really like about it, again, I did not realize until I started researching about the building, and then I was like, can't not see it. It was built with like two different architects, and I don't know why they did this, but they were like, you do the first half, we'll do the second half. It's one building. I'm like, how does this work? But the first half of the building on the north side was built using the more, at the time, old school traditional, like thick wall structure. And so the weight that is held through all the walls of the building. So you've got really thick walls, and you can see at the base, it's just these huge, thick brick walls. And then they used like something like 200 or 300 different size brick casts to make very custom bricks. So then it has this really nice, cool curve going up the front.
Wow.
Neat.
It actually looks like a little more modern in some ways because it's got like this very like not super ornate, very just like streamlined curves and whatnot.
Okay.
The second half of the building is in that skeleton steel structure where like the weight is put into the steel, and then the walls are a lot thinner and lighter. And then they're just attached to each other, and it's one building. And when you're walking through it, you don't even know you're in a building until you walk into the out, or like you don't realize the building is so different until you walk outside and you look at the outside, and they're like completely different looking.
That's wild.
Cool.
Yeah. And the shops in that building, they like intentionally bring in tenants that have kind of like an old school charm. So there's like a hat shop, like it's the 1930s.
fun.
There's like a little floral shop. There's a barber. There's a coffee shop. There's like it's like Harry's sandwiches or something, or Hell's sandwiches. They're only open like 4 hours a day. And I'm like, how do you afford rent? You're never open when I walk by. They still have like the old, really old like electric lights on the inside.
Cool.
And so it's
Cool.
really dim. It's like, this is cool, but like I can't read. Just like keep walking until you get to the sun.
This is romantic, but it's 9:30 in the morning, and
And
I
I'm
need
like,
to
well,
order.
I'm gonna fall
Our
back
phones
asleep.
have flashlights.
Oh, Kelly, you were asking about like innovations that made it more possible. And electricity was one too, not only for the elevators and things like that, but being able to bring electricity through the buildings, less dependent on like natural sunlight all the time.
Oh, so it was like, so we had to wire things more than we would have if it was a shorter building. And so, like, was it like the wires that carry the electricity, or was it like how powerful the like switch is? What do you call it?
I think, and I might just be pulling this answer out of my ass, but I think the answer is just like electricity became like more common, and so like you can like have bigger buildings so
Yeah.
that you're further away from windows, but you can still have light. Like you can have
Okay.
interior hallways, and
Yeah.
it's not like built with gas. Oh, I remember. Okay, I did actually read this somewhere, so this is probably a little more true. Um,
No, I hate facts. Tell me more stories.
This is a
It's
conjecture only podcast.
No, tell me.
fire safety. It's safer.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with oil, and it completely changes a lot of your options. Jenny and I, my wife, toured the Reed House in Newcastle, Delaware, over the weekend, and that is the like largest. I think it was like 1770 that it was built.
Oh,
It has these just massive windows because the idea is you have this huge house with 14-foot ceilings on both
Oh, yeah.
floors.
Mhm.
And it has these massive windows because you didn't have electricity when you started. So it's like if you want to have space and daytime at the same time to just be able to write, you got to write your letter to someone who lives a state away, but it won't get there for 6 months. So you're kind of planning a lot. You need a lot of light for that.
Honestly, that's sort of why I love old like apartments and houses to live in. Like my last
Mhm.
apartment was an old Edwardian house and like retrofitted for electricity. And so the windows were huge and the ceilings were tall and it was beautiful. And like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I want to live in. I need them big windows. Give me
Absolutely.
that vitamin D.
The one of the apartments I lived in Boulder when I was there was like a 1950s 1960s building where it's like it's all brick, and what you got was like a really narrow, like a 2-foot tall by 4-foot wide window in each of the rooms, and that was it. Like that was all that they gave you. So
No, I can't do
when
that.
the sun came straight through, it lit the whole place. But otherwise, like you could stand in an apartment that was like 700 square feet. If you stood in the kitchen away from the living room window, it was dark in the corner.
You know the meme that's like, is this person attractive or are they just tall? Like that's how I feel about apartments. It's like, is this apartment nice or does it just have big windows? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
But there were
tomato,
times-
in my opinion.
yeah, I walk past the building. I'm like, oh my gosh, those apartments are so cute. Like, I would love to live there. And I'm like, it just has a big window. Like, I don't even know. It could have a half a bathroom. And I'm like, I would love to live
I love
there.
it.
That's the like the loft thing where you go by a factory building or something that's been converted into lofts, and they have that the sort of pane glass the huge windows where you're like, oh, those are
Yeah.
single pane, and I'm sure just heat
So
like leaches
cold,
right
yeah.
out of those. It's got to be like you could literally just put all of your frozen food right next to the window most of the year, and it would be fine.
Well, I run hot, so that works for me.
Do we have any other skyscraper thoughts, or shall we slide into the other segments?
I feel like we peanut galleried you really hard, Victoria.
No, I had fun. This is great. I have like a page and a half of notes total, and you guys stretched it so far. It was great.
That's the name of the podcast, is stretch a page and a half worth of notes to conservatively 3 hours of content.
Oh, I did have one final thought, kind of going off of our apartment conversation. One of my favorite things to do in like older buildings is try to like just figure out what it was. My partner refers to this as my wild speculation. Like I get so into it, and I'm just like, what if it was like this? And he's like, why does it matter? And I'm like, I just need to know if the bathroom was always in the spot.
I'm curious.
My first apartment in Chicago was built in like the 1910s or something. So by the time I was living there, it was over 100 years old. And yeah, there was just so many weird quirks about it that I'm like, what was the original thought here? But part of it was that it didn't have the plumbing for a kitchen and a bathroom the way we do now.
Yeah.
So our bathroom was literally like a step up because they just put the pipes in and then put more floor over it.
Yeah.
But it was so fun
That's the
at
way to do
parties
it.
because everyone would be like half, a little too drunk and then just fall out of the bathroom. It was so fun. You just stand there and watch all night as people just fall out of the bathroom.
I feel like you have to put like pool noodles on the like edge of the bathtub inside the bathroom in case they fall in. Like no concussions at this party.
Yeah, I had a buddy who had an apartment in Denver in Cap Hill that was the same thing where the tub was a full like 3.5 feet off the ground. And he's like 6'3" probably.
Oh no,
So
he's out of
the
height.
combination was that he had to crane
Oh.
to shower, but it was a really good deal for the location. And also, Victoria, this makes a lot of sense because when we were in Seattle recently for work, the Airbnb we stayed in, we had a conversation about what the original layout of the place probably was. And that shit interests me too, partially because I'm a plumber's son. So I'm like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. Where is this
Home
going?
builder's daughter. This is why.
There it
Yeah.
is.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a reason why people need to get back into the trades. Stop going to college.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the mystery still stands, Nate. I still don't really know what was going on. Not only with the layout of the apartment, which was kind of like if someone took offices and made it an apartment, but just like put doors haphazardly. I don't know. It was weird.
Let's do everyone's favorite segment on this podcast. It's time for the Mouthgarf report.
The Mouthgarf report. Open wide.
Yay! When you said it, I was like, it could go either way. I
Yeah,
don't know what
it could.
segment we're gonna do.
We kind of skipped it on our last episode.
did.
The Mouthgarf report, Victoria, for your knowledge, used to be called the Mouthguard report, but because we talked about Garfield enough during it, now it's the Mouthgarf report. But bottom line is, if you have anything to share about your teeth, if you wear a mouthguard at night, anything like that, this is the place to say.
Or any Garfield news.
Or any
Yeah,
Garfield
or
news. If you
Garfield.
have some Garfield news, absolutely.
I did hang out with an orange cat the other day.
Great.
That is the closest I have. to
Lasagna? Was lasagna involved?
Lasagna was not involved, though the cat did try to eat my snacks. If I had lasagna as a snack,
That was him.
it would have been it.
Foregone
That was him
conclusion.
for sure.
Was it a Monday?
Oh.
What day of the week was it?
Monday. It was Monday.
It was a Tuesday.
Well, he
Big.
hates Mondays, so we
Garf
got him
hates
on a good
Mondays.
day.
Yeah, that tracks.
Good
That tracks.
day.
Yeah,
Good
perfect.
Cats understand time zones, you know, like
Even with time zone difference, by the time it's Tuesday in Chicago, I don't think it's Monday anywhere.
yeah.
I have very limited Mouthgarf news. News one, Chelsea. We're gonna have to connect. Video game wise, I bought a Nintendo Switch.
Yay! Did you get it for Tears of the Kingdom?
I did, and I have not played it at all yet. But
Okay.
I got a
put
Nintendo
in a
Switch.
few hours.
So I traded my Garf cart for some Mario Kart for the short term.
okay.
I'm doing a little bit of that.
I bet you can find a mod to apply. You can do mods
make
in
Garfield in
games,
it?
right?
Yeah, I bet there's got to be something on the Switch that has Garf in it, and I will find it.
Yeah.
Even if it's
Yeah.
just like Garf as an unlockable character in
I
a
think
Mario
there's a
game.
Garf cart in the Switch.
Oh, great.
Well, we can do Garf cart on the PS5, and then we'll figure out something else to play on the Switch. But we'll have to talk about Tears of the Kingdom once you put some hours.
I am
into
like,
it.
I also got the other one, the first Breath of the Wild. I bought that also
Okay,
because
so
I was
you
like,
haven't
why
played Breath of
not?
the Wild?
But I haven't played any of it.
Oh,
But I keep hearing such cool
okay.
things about Tears of the Kingdom. They're like, should I just start with the better game and then go back? But am I ever going to go back?
Okay.
Oh, it's not the better game.
I don't know. I have
First
this,
you call her
I
a
have
minion,
this feeling.
now you insult.
Oh no! Oh
Now
no!
you're insulting my games.
I'm in timeout.
Um,
I'm going to go over
I
here.
have Ryan's brother started playing. They didn't play Breath of the Wild, but I love Breath of the Wild, and they started playing Tears of the Kingdom, and now they're playing Breath of the Wild because they completed Tears of the Kingdom, and they're like, I want more.
They
but
beat Tears of
I
the
love-
Kingdom already?
Yeah.
That seems so
girl.
fast. How many
I mean,
hours
if I-
a day are they playing this game?
If I could, I would, you know, if I didn't value sleep or didn't think that I would be incapable of functioning, I would probably keep playing.
I have such absurd video game guilt. I will play games for a certain amount of time and then I will feel guilty. Like, oh man, I'm
Yeah.
wasting my time.
No,
Mhm.
you know what, Nate?
That's
This is
capitalism. Yeah, Kelly.
that tells you that you have to be productive all the
Mhm.
time. Tell it
Mhm.
no. You deserve rest and you deserve fun.
And then for a second there, you're like, should I just be a streamer? Because then I can monetize me playing
It's
video
true.
games.
Yeah.
And then
No.
you're like, why can't I just enjoy stuff? Why
Just
can't I just
enjoy
enjoy
stuff.
stuff? Why?
Just
Why?
like stuff.
Counterpoint, I shared with both of you that I've been going to the gym. Maybe I should play video games shirtless on Twitch and see if I bring in some money for the podcast.
Okay,
it.
how about OnlyFans. Like, if we're gonna go there,
That's
let's go
fair.
all the way.
Yeah. I could sell. Okay, I play my Switch in the bathtub, sell the water to weirdos.
Oh, here
Right?
we go.
That's
Now
the OnlyFans recipe, isn't it? That's the way we do it. The mouth-related news I have is I have also been playing the game Cyberpunk 2077, which I put off 4 years because the game came out so glitchy that it was
And it was so
impossible to
bad.
play. It is awesome. I love this game. I'm having so much fun with this game on my PS5. And the reason why it belongs in the Mouthgarf report is because you can do some serious teeth customization in this game.
Oh my God.
It is wild.
No names.
So for the weirdo character, Victoria, that I portray on this podcast who collects teeth and wants to
Portray,
see
quote,
every...
unquote.
Look, for legal reasons, I portray this character on this podcast. Much like Alex Jones or Fox News, I am just an entertainment property and not a weirdo. But yeah, you can have like neon teeth, you can have weird like capped metal teeth, you can put jewels in them, you can have regular ass teeth, you can have teeth with like circuitry in them. It's something else.
Nate, you got to be careful because this is gonna like push your fetish to the next level, and then you're gonna be like chasing the dragon.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just,
no, I
like,
know. It's
be
literally
cautious,
almost
okay?
too late. I recognize that I'm
God.
standing at the sexual Grand Canyon
lip
of
a
this.
press. What have you done? How did you customize your teeth? What do they look like?
I just gave him regular teeth, but I got a badass
That's
mustache.
good. Oh, you
Yeah.
know I love a mustache.
Yeah. Well, because I keep thinking that I'm gonna try to grow one at some point. Like when I grew
Oh.
all of my facial hair out, I really liked it, and it took me. But my facial hair grows so slowly; it takes like 2 months to get to a point where I'm like, oh, cool. But I always wanted to buy like mustache wax and just like give it a little bit of character.
Nope, I'm gonna stop you right there.
No?
Don't do that.
Well, not like straight out or anything, but like just a little bit of a little bit
So
of
not
curl.
like Jim Carrey and Sonic. Is that
No,
what
yeah,
you're
not
thinking of,
not
straight
not
down?
that. Yeah. I don't want to
Okay.
look like an electrocuted Eggman by any means,
Okay,
but
okay, that's fair.
So here's the thing. I had a Spanish professor in college who did the like curly cues, full on curly cues.
yeah.
And he was a huge lech. Like, I worked hard in Spanish, except for the fact that it was at 8 a.m. and I can't do that. So I missed a lot of classes, so many classes that he should have flunked me. But I went to his classroom, and you know what? He announced this to the class. He was like, if you come to me with like a low grade and you cry, I will pass you.
What?
Wow.
And I was
Oh.
like, I am not above exploiting my womanly
nope.
wiles. So-
And y'all
So I
are
went
worried
and
about me
cried.
and my teeth fetish. When
And I
this
got an
guy's just
A.
like cashing them
Your
in.
fetish?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not worried about him. He's gross and bad. I'm just saying, when you say mustache wax, I think of a huge perv. So-
Fair. Hey, look.
Yeah.
I'm workshopping ideas. Nothing's happening yet. Like this is
I mean, I'm sorry.
still a bare upper lip
I'm
right
yucking
now.
your yum again. You give it a shot. You go for it, and we'll tell you what the vibe
The
is.
opinions of my co-hosts
So-
are important to me. My collaborators keep me on track.
I think that there would be a preference towards the twirled up mustache, and I'm only saying that is because when I think that it's just a mustache, I always go to cop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to
so
add a
if
little bit of
twirl
flavor
up-
to it. You know?
You
Yeah.
gotta add flavor. You gotta add the
But
like.
the only other person I
curveball.
know who has that is like my great uncle Merle. So I might just start calling you great uncle Nate.
Great.
Mhm.
I mean,
Honestly,
Merle is
that
cool
works.
too. Merle's a great name.
I mean, he's great. I like him a lot. So that's one positive towards the mustache wax.
I'll send you some cutie patooties with mustaches. I'll send you some.
Just general
I fol-
mustache or
I follow them on
mustache with-
Instagram. They're usually like comedians with good mustaches. I'll share it with
Okay.
the group chat.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
thank
Let's
you.
start doing that. Stash
Are
Garf
we just gonna
report.
start sending? Yeah, I was gonna say, is this
Stash
gonna be
Garf
Garfield with
report.
mustaches? Is that what you're saying, Kelly? You're just gonna find a lot of.
Didn't I already share that? Wasn't
Yeah, I
that
think
my?
you did.
Kat's having her Sat's mustache because of the way that their like whiskers are placed and that their upper lip
Mhm.
divides that gives them mustache vibes. Like
That's fair.
I think it's part of the charm.
Kelly, did you have X-rays for us?
They're not X-rays. They are fully photographs of my teeth.
Here
Oh
we
my
go.
I forgot this. Hold on. Let me locate them. I'm not prepared because I forgot.
Okay, in the meantime, I'll give my quick update. So I have betrayed Cheeky, and now I have contacted Remy, and I have paid them, and I'm going to get my kit in 3 to 5 business days.
Excellent. So wait, Remy,
And
is it REMY?
REMI is the alternative to Cheeky. I'm hoping that it's the people that left Cheeky or got fired from Cheeky and created their own brand at the same time. I don't know. We'll see, because I thought that there was a drop in quality at some point. Serious opinions about mouth guards. But I did get one of those like teeth pods, so I will have one of the cleaning pods in which I can clean my. I know we had talked about cleaning recently.
Amazing.
So I am going to have a cleaning pot for my mouth guards.
Hey, congrats.
That's
Thank
so
you.
cool.
I'm so excited about it.
I'm envious. I'm going to road trip just to see the pod. I'm not
I'll
even
let
asked
you
to
borrow
use it.
it because it sounds like you don't clean yours enough.
You need to clean yours, Nate.
I told you that the dog chewed on it once, so it's fine.
Gross.
Oh, God.
He's a puppy. There's no problem.
So unfortunately, the host has disabled sharing, so I cannot
Oh.
show you my teeth, but I will send it to the group chat.
Thank you. Maybe just send it to me. I'm just worried about Nate seeing them. Just to
You
be
can
honest
share
with
it. You
I
can
don't
share.
know.
I've enabled sharing.
This is gross because it was a big cavity, so everybody just be
Ooh, I am
prepared.
If you put up a picture of the Grand Canyon, I'm going to lose my fucking shit.
God, that would have been a great
That was
bit.
fun.
Oh, no. Now I haven't enabled sharing. I would have to leave and come back. Edit this out. I'll show you next week.
Okay. I'm leaving it all in, but still, yeah. Well, I want the listeners to really have a teaser. They'll be like, I got to come back. I got to hear about this.
That's going to be 6
cavity.
weeks since I first heard about it. So we are on the edge of our seats.
We talked about Who Shot JR on our last episode, which was a huge cliffhanger that ran an entire summer. We're doing the same thing. This is sweeps. If you want to find out about Kelly's weird teeth cavity situation, you're going to have to keep sticking with us. You're going to find out.
They look gross, dude. I can't believe you're into this, Nate.
All right, that was the Mouthgarf report. I think it's time that we play a game. If everyone's ready, we can play a little game called I See What You Did There.
I'm so excited.
The sad anticipation. Yeah, I See What You Did There is kind of a before and after game. I'm going to give you a couple of clues that butt up against each other. You're going to tell me what I am alluding to. These are all themed around skyscrapers, as one might imagine. This is a collaborative game, so there's no need to fight. You're working together. If something sounds right, in fact, some of it will, because Victoria has mentioned at least 2 of the answers
Awesome.
previously in the episode.
You got to come back every week because usually it's just me and Chelsea being like, I don't know.
It takes us like 30 minutes. Lots of editing.
Finger monkey.
Oh.
Finger monkey.
Finger monkey. Number 1. This tallest skyscraper in the world will get you high, but maybe not as high as the products sold by rapper Wiz's marijuana company.
Okay, so it's a play on the Burj Khalifa.
So yeah, Burj Khalifa is half of it, so you have that. So what would you add onto that? You're very
I
close.
don't know.
You're very close, Kelly.
Wiz Khalifa's
So it's Wiz Khalifa's
company.
reefer or something? Like, I don't know what his weed is.
Yeah, his company
marijuana
name.
Does he sell?
His company name has starts with Khalifa being his last name, and then there's a word that follows it that is a
Reefa? I don't know.
that's a really good. He should have done
better.
that. He did not.
Okay.
That is not what he did. Think of
Is it
think
Khalifa
of a.
Keef?
It's
Burj
another
Khalifa
K marijuana term.
Kush? Is that one? That's
Oh.
one, right?
Yeah. Put it all together. Chelsea.
Burj Khalifa Kush.
Burj Khalifa Kush. Yeah, you see what I did there.
Hell yeah.
If you need to buy some marijuana from Wiz Khalifa, make it Khalifa Kush.
Does he ship to Colorado?
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
I don't know how any of these
I've
people.
never seen the appeal
No,
in the
you can't-
celebrity brand for weed.
I'm kind of down for Willie Nelson's. Like, I want to try Willie Nelson's weed, but that's
Oh,
mostly because
yeah.
it's like that dude knows for real. He
I-
knows.
Yeah.
But they all know. That's kind of the thing. Like,
well,
and
here's
I
my concern with Willie Nelson weed is that it's just going to be like stems. Like that's going to be dirt weed.
Yeah. It's like,
Like,
Willie
no
Nelson.
offense, Willie Nelson. I just mean
No.
that, like, he's been around and he's like, I'm going to make do with what I've got.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Willie Nelson's road weed is not going
Yeah,
to be.
exactly. He's like, I picked this up in an alley in Nashville.
Because, like, you probably want Snoop's weed or something. But, like,
Yeah.
to be fair, I'm not going to know anyway because I can't tell shit for shit when it comes to it. It's just like, I'm high now. This is working. And that's great.
Or
I can go
I'm,
to
like,
sleep.
puking, or I'm like crying.
Some of that might not be weed. Kelly, you might want to
Okay.
look into that.
Sure, let's make fun of my mental illness. Okay, thanks,
Oh
Nate.
no! Aw.
Oh,
And I'm not gonna
turning
edit
the
that
tables.
out. I won't edit it out because I'm
No,
a big
good,
enough
don't,
man to
because-
admit when I'm wrong.
And I was doing a bit.
You know what else is a bit? Number 2!
Oh, yay!
Skyscraper is a 2018 film starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and
Oh,
this Party of 5 Scream Queen. And hopefully they've stocked their kitchen with this, quote, soup that eats like a meal, unquote.
So many parts of this. I can see why Chelsea is taking notes as you speak.
So Jennifer.
Oh,
Love-
we should have told you. Take notes.
Okay. Okay. Repeat.
So we've got Nev
Oh, Nev
Campbell's
Campbell. Nev
chunky
Campbell soup. Chunky soup.
Yeah, Nev Campbell's Chunky Soup. You see what I did there? That's it. Just
Oh,
casually
Scream.
sliding into
We were
that.
talking about actual Scream. Sorry, I don't know why I went for Jennifer Love Hewitt because I know what you did
Oh,
last summer. Scream.
I was
That's the one
being
that sticks out
intentionally
for me.
deceptive. Like, Party of
Yeah.
5 Scream Queen makes you think, because you don't think about Nev Campbell being in Party of 5, really?
I
as
should.
much?
I didn't watch
don't
Party of
know.
5, so
I mean, could I have referenced Lacey Chabert? I don't know.
was she a scream queen?
From Mean Girls. Is she in?
She's
Am
got
I
to have been
making
in a
that up?
horror movie, right? Was she in, like, Scream 4? 4 Cream?
For cream?
For
Victoria, Chelsea and I also host a horror movie podcast, and describing the screams as number cream is a bit that we do over there.
Even without context, I found it funny. So
Yay! And it's definitely retroactive. 1 cream,
Yeah.
2 cream.
Number three. Chicago's Willis Tower used to be named for this prominent department store, known in part for family photography. Now imagine if the casts of Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, and Kiki's Delivery Service all sat for group shots.
the first part is Sears.
Got Sears.
What's your anime knowledge?
I recognize a lot of things, but I have a terrible memory for.
Sears Studio Ghibli.
What's
Yeah.
the word that goes between Sears and studio?
Oh,
Sears Studio. What? Between.
Between
Like
Sears
if they're
Photo Studio. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Sears
I mean,
Photo Studio. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
Sears,
I knew Studio Ghibli. There we go. Okay.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
I need to defend my anime honor. I was like, wait, no, I knew that, but I
I
actually
totally
didn't, 'cause I didn't say
misheard
it
you,
out loud.
and I thought that we were looking for like actors' names. Okay.
Same. I was like thinking, yeah, okay, cool, nice, we did it. Teamwork.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad this is a group.
Teamwork.
I was
Teamwork.
going for Sears Portrait Studio was the thing, right? Where you go
Portrait.
sit. Yeah, you see what I did there.
Yeah,
yes.
We got it. That was the clumsiest of the batch, I will admit. Number 4, New York's famous Empire State Building is of this timeless French architectural style. And when ascending its 102 floors with a cold or sinus infection, you might want to take these to fully breathe the rarefied air at the top.
Is rarefied a clue, or is that a vocab flex?
It's just a vocab flex, yeah. We're just,
Got it.
just having fun with being high up. Yeah. Altitudinal.
My guess on the first part was Art Deco, but I don't know if that's right.
That's
Art
Okay.
Deco is
Too.
the
It is
first
Art Deco.
part.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other
Okay.
part is taking something to breathe.
Yeah. You need to take something if you have a cold.
Decongestion? Art decongestion.
Yeah.
Deco decongestion? Yeah.
You see what I
Here
did
we
there?
go.
Oh, nice.
Decongestant. Art Deco, I learned just when putting this together. French for art decoratif.
Decoupage. Oh.
Just slap some shit together. That looks like a building. You see what I did there? Well done.
Yeah, that was
Yay.
cute because we each got one. Yay!
I think it's time to talk Debs about this first skyscraper.
Talk Debs.
So, Victoria, we rate every episode effectively because it really ends up or you're rating the building. If you want to rate the home life insurance building, you can. The scale is 1 to 5, 5 being debaucherous, 4 being debonair, 3 being debatable, 2 being debilitated, and 1 being a debacle. But you can also rate yourself. How do you think you did?
You did a 5.
I completely agree.
Well, thank you. I had fun.
Like, we just talked over you for an hour and a half, and you stayed focused. Congrats.
Anyone who can create a riff medium for this show that isn't one of the three of us, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, great job.
Okay, wait. So debonair.
Debaucherous, debonair, debatable, debilitated, and debacle.
Debaucherous being the positive
Oh, yeah.
of that adjective. If I'm rating the building, I think I'm going to go with a 4. It would be a 5 if they had given it a more creative name. And it was cute. They tore it down, and what's there now is
Nice.
more
It's
your
Art
style.
Deco building.
Yeah, it is Art
Yeah.
Deco, but it's not as decorative. It's not as ornamental.
Mhm.
And I think that the original was much cuter.
No, I think it's ridiculous. I think they could have been way more in it. It could even be like Smith's home insurance company. Like,
Yeah.
who's in charge?
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Can we
How do
trust
you know
those Smiths?
Which insurance company I have my insurance with when my home burns down?
Just
Was
the
there more than one
company.
insurance at that time? Was that the only?
Literally, there's only one, and they built a building.
They're the only ones.
They're-
They had a
they've got
monopoly on
monopoly?
insurance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Well, now I'm knocking it down to a 3.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm not. I'm sticking with 4.
All right. It's a 4. Okay.
I was gonna go 4 for the name as well, but I think that I'm gonna go 5 because I did learn a ton this episode, and anytime I learn a lot, I want to go 5.
I mean, if I'm rating the episode,
right,
it's a
all right.
5.
I'm going with a 4 because the word debonair has air in it. And what is in the air more than a
Oh.
skyscraper?
True.
I see what
I
you
see
did
what
there.
you did there.
That's right. That's right. That's 2 in a row where people saw what I did there.
I was gonna give it a 3 because we didn't get to see it stand the test of time.
Oh,
But maybe it like ended when it should. When things end at the right time, it doesn't go on too
Yeah.
long. We don't have to watch it
Yep.
sink into the ground. We don't have to be like,
We get
it
to,
used
like,
to be
keep
tall, but
it-
now it's like short.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
we get to like keep it in our imaginations. We get to
Yeah.
romanticize it. It's always like part of its time.
Yeah. We didn't get to watch it become like a 7-Eleven.
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
It's Bank of America now.
So I think I land on a 4. I think maybe it, ended. It ran its course. It lived a bright and beautiful but short life. Yeah.
Live fast, die young. That's what they say. Leave a beautiful corpse. Oh,
So-
I guess it didn't leave a corpse, did it? Well,
Not a steel skeleton left behind.
So is that 3 4s and a 5?
Mhm.
Is that what we had?
yes.
I used my calculator
Good.
so as to
Mhm.
avoid the nonsense of previous episodes. That is a 4.25
Good.
Makes sense.
rating for the first
Pretty
skyscraper.
good.
Yeah.
If it was 425 meters, it counts. It would be a skyscraper.
It counted in its time. Did you learn nothing?
On our next episode, we're going to be talking about the first day of summer, commonly known by people, hopefully you know this, the summer solstice.
You know this.
It's
Yeah.
not Memorial Day. It's the summer solstice, which happens around the 21st through 23rd of June every year in the Northern Hemisphere,
In the
not to be
Northern
confused
Hemisphere.
with the Southern Hemisphere, where everything goes backwards and dogs walk humans.
Sounds like a beautiful place.
Yeah, it would be better.
Yeah, let them make the decisions.
Yeah, can we go to the Southern Hemisphere?
I want to pee outside.
Okay, can't wait.
Victoria, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
This was so
I had a good time.
fun.
Do you have
Yeah.
anything that you would like to plug?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can check out our podcast, Book Club with Julie and Victoria. We talk about the books we can't shut up about, and we have a fun time. And hopefully, I guess the episode will come out in September. It'll be a little while. You'll hear Nate on our show
That's right.
chatting about whatever we decide to chat about.
Who
And
knows?
Yeah.
I'm as excited to find out as you are.
I had the thought today. I was like, we should talk. It's in August.
Yeah.
I have
Plus,
so
I
many
mean, you
things
see how
for
well
them.
this goes without any preparation, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, that'll be great.
You just need a dash of movie magic. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Fix it in post.
In addition to talking about books, we have some authors and friends come on for interviews, and for our members, we have some little videos talking about book to TV, book to film adaptations. We had a Daisy Jones and the Six series come out, and I think by the time this comes out, we will be cooking up something new that someone will have to come to our show to hear about, because I don't know what it is yet.
Fantastic. Oh, what a good tease. This
That
is
was a
full of
really
good
long
teases.
plug, and you should pull that down to like a 20-second most plug. Thank you.
I'm leaving it all in. All of it's staying in. My best joke in recent memory, I'm going to say this and then no one's going to laugh, was I posted about Daisy Jones and the Six because the series was on Amazon. And I said, I know it's called Daisy Jones and the Six, but he's an 8 at least. This is good. This is good. We have a trend now where Kelly fake laughs and then eventually she actually laughs.
I tickle myself into real laughter. And I do it for you, Nate.
Look, I appreciate it.
I know if I do it out loud, I'll get there.
Listeners, if you like this podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and tell us a skyscraper that you've been in that was particularly tall or wide. Maybe you were in a skyscraper that fell over. Tell us about that. Put that in the review. If you like the music featured on this podcast, it's all composed by Michael J. O'Connor. You can check out all of his stuff at michaeljoconnor.bandcamp.com. And if you like science fiction books, please check out readspaceboy.com. Spaceboy Books is where I and my publishing partner, Sean Grokowski, publish science fiction and other excellent narrative fiction for all kinds of people to read.
And if you miss Chelsea's and my voice during the fortnightly break between this and the next episode, you can find us over on Never Show the Monster, where we talk about horror movies.
Thanks again, Victoria, for being on. This was fantastic.
Thanks for having me. Next time I go down a rabbit hole, I'll call you.
Yes. Please. I would venture that we all ascended to great heights on this episode.
When'd you come up with that?
Literally just now.
Oh, proud of you.
But the view from the top is pretty great. So I'm going to be the first to say, bye, buddies.
Bye.
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 First is best, or first